If you are joining us, it is a good time to enjoy in the live stream. All right, so honey, with everything said and done, running late a little bit, what you got to say for the week? How was your week last week?
You know what's up because yesterday was your birthday,
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
so we continue to wish happy belated birthday.
It was my birthday yesterday. I'm turning one more year up. You thought I was gonna say I'm not gonna say it on a live. Come on, man. Turn one more year up and grateful to God for what He has done and continues to do with us. And I appreciate what the family did also for me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Actually, have some of the balls stained right behind us. If you can see in between us, some of the beautiful decorations that I got with some hanging up there too. And I really do appreciate what you did as a family for me. But thank you.
Oh,
If you're married to a very good woman, you can expect every year to be better. Come on, man. All right. So thank you, and thank you to the beautiful kids and who planned that beautiful birthday thing. Though you worked, you still made it happen. All right. So in the interest of time, we're going to hit on to what we are about to talk about today, and we don't want to waste much of your time. So we just want to say that if you are joining us, we thank you for your time. And the topic that we want to talk about, we're basically going to talk about stress. We're talking about stress today, but it's a lot more than just stress. How stress affects your blood pressure, and potentially how stress can cause you to have heart diseases or heart or cardiovascular issues. And so that's about some of the stuff we're going to talk about. And maybe I should go further down to see to let you know more. We're going to break down our topic into snippets so that we can basically enjoy it the best way we can. So, how stress fuels hypertension and heart disease. Those of you watching on the the full frame video on YouTube, you can see our slides that are showing. And we're going to break down this topic into, some basic smaller units that we can explain. So let's make sure that we enjoy it together. Invite somebody, share the stream with someone, and let us roll together. We're going to break down this topic into very important points. How does stress fuel hypertension? And with that, it's going to be more to that, not just that. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the causes of stress. You know, the stream is potentially going to be very informative and long. So be ready. Grab yourself some popcorn. Popcorn is not good. Come on, man.
maybe the skinny popcorn.
Yeah, grab yourself some healthy snack, I should say. Maybe some apple, some broccolis, sprinkle with a little bit of, cheese, and ensure that you are rolling with us. But definitely, yes, we're going to talk about the causes of stress. We're also going to talk about how stress affects blood pressure. How does stress actually correlate to your blood pressure?
Then we continue to talk about how we can overcome stress.
How we can
So
overcome
it's
stress.
good to know your stresses, but how can you overcome them in case they hit? Then we will take your comments, and if you have any questions, you can bring it up. And we encourage each and every one of us watching to just say hi so that we acknowledge you and we all learn together.
Oh, come on, man. That's what's up. Say hi or hit the like and thumbs up button and let's roll together. So we're going to talk about these four things. Major, it's actually longer than these four because we're going to break each one down. Causes of stress, it's one of them. So we probably have to start off with that. So yes, causes of stress is the first one. We're going to break it down. And the first one, as you can see on our slide, is work and your job or your career situations can lead you to stress. Because if we don't know what stress is, then we can't tell if that's whatever you are dealing with is actually an issue that is going to raise your blood pressure. So we really want to talk about some of the things, a few stresses. Work can cause you to have stress, and by work causing you to have stress, if you deal with co-workers that are stressful, that can stress you up, then of course, oh, come on, man. You have anything to add? There's more, yeah.
Yeah, and if you have long hours,
Mm.
and you have a deadline to meet,
Mm-hmm.
like you are very stressed because you have to meet a particular deadline. And if the job that you're doing, you don't really like to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe circumstances has made you to take that job.
Mm.
You could go and maybe you are not enjoying what you do, so it tends to be stressful. And maybe you don't really understand certain things. Maybe anytime there is new updates of software or stuff like that, things like that really stresses you up. So definitely your work can be stressful.
Your work can stress you up big time. Work can stress you up. And then also with that, with work, also career, is the demands of your bosses and your supervisors. Some of the things that you may be required to do. Sometimes you may ask yourself, are they really serious? They really think I can do this within this amount of time? And sometimes they think you can, but if you don't voice it out, it becomes a problem because now you got to find a way to do it. And so it becomes a stressful situation, especially when it goes on over a long period. Then it can lead to your blood pressure going up. So career or job stress can be that. And also, if you don't have a job and you're looking for a job, you put in applications everywhere, you go to every place and you are turned down, that can lead you to stress, especially when you have received some education and you know you got to get this job down. This career should be something that is yours. And yet, when you apply, nobody calls you. That can make you stressful. I was talking to a lady, a young lady who graduated, smart woman, smart young lady, and she was telling me her experience at, applying for jobs. She applies and almost everybody says, okay, you hear from us, and nobody called back until she ended up having to actually downgrade herself to a job that she is far over, qualified for. But the key is if you haven't developed the shock absorbable tools to be able to absorb and deal with those stresses, you can end up having hypertension no matter how young or old you are, because it's not something that you want to deal with.
And sometimes too, if you feel insecure
Mm.
at your job place, whenever you are going, you are worried, and if your company is downsizing and you keep hearing people are being laid off here
Yes.
and there, then it's likely that you are going to be worried or be stressful. And also, if like you said that you graduated from college, we have the financial aid and we have
Student
things
loans.
popping up and student loans, and you have the mortgage, you have all that coming up, creeping up. So if you feel like you wouldn't be able to meet those demands and you are not secured at your job place, you tend to be stressful.
You tend to be stressed. My goodness, you tend to be stressed right there. So your job can stress you up, but it doesn't end it there. There's more. There's more on there, and I implore you to hit the like button and follow us if you are watching from TikTok. Don't just scroll through. Follow, because we got a lot to share on our channel, as well as Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe and hit those buttons. All right, so I think there is another stressor that we can talk about, and that is stress from finances. Financial strain, stress. It can also lead you to high blood pressure. And I think you almost got into it with the last explanation. If the bills, this young man we are looking at, you can see is adding up all the bills. He is lucky he has even typed up the bills and he's adding, and his money is on the side. And you can tell that money is not enough for all those bills that have been, printed on that sheet of paper. And if this becomes your life, you cannot meet the bills because of financial strain, because your income is less than you actually think would be sufficient for your bills. It can lead to chronic stress. And chronic stress, as we will learn in the future, is going to lead you to hypertension or high blood pressure.
Yeah, and if the debt collectors start writing and start calling, that can be very stressful.
My goodness.
Yeah, so you keep receiving mail after mail after mail, and they keep calling every now and then. Every day you receive 3 phone calls from debt collectors, and you can see that that can be
That can lead you to
stressful.
serious stress that can lead you to health problems, as we are talking about. So financial strain and stress, and if you have kids you're taking care of who also have financial needs, you have a wife or husband who also has financial needs, and you are the sole provider, or you are the sole winner of the household, all those financial burdens can be unduly pressuring you and stressing you up. And that stress becomes something that becomes detrimental to your health, in particular to your cardiovascular health. So, financial stress is one of those stresses that are making people very, very hypertensive. And it's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people in low income neighborhoods have high blood pressure, because financially they are not all there. And because of that, they are getting stressed all the time. Stressed thinking about what to eat the next day. How are you going to meet the rent for your apartment? How are you going to pay your next car note? How are you going to pay for heating and plumbing? All those things can tremendously increase your stress levels and unfortunately increase your blood pressure. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So with that on the side, we can go potentially to the next kind of stress that we are thinking about, and that is relationship stress. Come on, man. I want you to start on that one.
Oh, I watched this thing on Facebook, and the lady said that, oh, the doctor said I should let out my stress. So she opened the door and let out the husband, the kids. You could see the small little kids walking out of the room of the house.
Those are the stresses.
So she let them all out, and she just kept the dog, and everybody else have to go outside the house, and she just closes the door after them, like, go, you are all stressing me out.
My goodness. So she let out her stress.
Yeah, the
And her
doctor
stresses were the
advised.
family. My goodness. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So if you have a relationship stress, that can be that maybe your husband and you are not getting along due to some like situations. Maybe your husband is not being faithful. He's not all there. You could see that he's not around, or he's not giving you the love, the attention that you used to get from him, or vice versa. You could see that the relationship is under stress, and because of that you can be very worried all the time. Some people go to the extent of trying to monitor every movement, and you are not in the relaxed state all the time. You are stressed because of your relationship. It could be whoever you are with, or your boyfriend, or anybody that you are with. If the person is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, that can be very stressful. If you have teenagers, that age that they are really not listening to you, you know that wherever they are heading towards is not very good, or is going to affect them, and they are not listening to
They are
you.
not listening.
They go out, they don't want to come home on time. They are just doing their own thing. That can be very stressful, and that can really stress you and affect your blood pressure.
Come on, man. That is a serious life stress situation out there. And the issue with family stress is you can, the joke you said earlier, you can't just let out the door and let them out. If it is your child, you cannot. And if it's your husband, some women are able to let them out. You just you just divorce you or kick you out or whatever. But especially if it's your child, there's no way you can let your some people are some people may do it. But suffice to say that family stresses can be one of the most serious ones that cause hypertension, because they are very difficult to manage, very difficult to do away with. So as we are going to go forward, you can tell some of the things we're going to talk about to help you with stress are easy things that you just change. But if your stress is from a person you live with, how are you going to change it? Unless the person decides to change, then the only way out is like Gifty said, open the door and let them go. which may not be the best. All right. So family stresses are leading people to high blood pressure. People, especially as people get young teenage boys in particular, people get so stressed that because one minute they are called at school to come and see what their kid did. Sometimes it's not even teenagers, as young as people in
Young
middle school
adults, yeah.
and junior high school. You get calls from school. 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that, and you can easily get stressed. Or if Gifty was careful to say if your husband is, if your husband is. So I'm going to talk about the other one. If your wife is, if your wife, if you have a wife who is also stressing you, you know, no food in the house is not kept right, and the wife is one of those that you say one word and they say 10 abusive verbal abuse, and you are a guy and you have to live with this woman. If you don't treat your stress, you can always be stressed. It's like you are stressed all the time. You're always fighting with your woman, always fighting with your children, always fighting with your man, always fighting with whoever it is that you live with. That is chronic stress for you, and you can easily raise your blood pressure. Apart from all the risk factors that will raise your pressure, that stress can make it so quick that you get stress. You get blood pressure and raise quickly, all because it is constant, it is consistent, and it is actually predictable. You can tell you're leaving work and you go home. You're gonna meet the woman, and the woman is gonna ask you why is it that you're 30 minutes late from coming home. Come on, man. So you can predict the stress right there, and any other thing. So if you're a woman who also does the same thing, your guy can also predict. And it's always something that can harm not just relationships, but it can harm our health, especially when it comes to blood pressure. So it's not just the salt that we tell you don't eat. It's not just the fat that we say cut back. It's not just the weight that is going high, but also the stress, the constant element of stress in your life, be it financial, as we already told you about, or when it comes to family and your children, especially those you cannot let go. Your wife or your husband, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your fiancé or whoever it is, who is, if it's a fiancé and they are stressing you can let them go, right?
Yeah,
Come on, man.
just let them. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. If you're not married yet and they are stressing you, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, come on, that one, you don't need to be. That one, you can just open the door for them and say, man, we are not married and you're already stressing me. What will happen when we are married? Let those ones go. But to be serious, it is something that people are going to their graves earlier on because of their wife or their husband that they live with. Stress upon stress. They did not know how to deal with the stress, and that stress led to one disease and led to the second disease, and unfortunately made them pass earlier. So this is the serious stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
Stress leading to hypertension. Watch out. And the good thing is we're going to talk about how to mitigate some of these stresses and be able to live without them. Of course, life is full of stresses, but if you got the skills to manage them, then you're going to do better than most. So keep watching. We're going to talk about those. Anything you want to add to
Yeah,
that?
and with teenage boys, you mentioned school. Some people also join gangs.
Thanks. Oh my
Gangs.
goodness. Yeah.
And as a parent, you are so worried all the
About your
time.
kids. Yeah.
And you want good for them, but the people that they have surrounded themselves with, and you will tell them over and over and try to advise. You've done it all, and they seems not to listen. That can be very stressful as a mother, as a father. Yes.
It can be very stressful in that association. Sometimes the people that your kids may be walking or playing with may not be of the place you want your kids to go, but they know better. They say all the time, right? Because they want to choose who they can roll with, and you will be staying home and you will be stressed. No, no, come on, man. It's not easy to just let go of your kids, especially when they are growing up. Some people, even when their kids are going to college and going to stay on campus, they become stressed.
Right.
And each time the kid is out, they are stressed every day thinking what is happening. At some point, you got to let them go and be yourself. Thinking, especially if you're a believer, praying to God and saying that take care of it. I leave it to your hands. I leave them to your hands, and hopefully they come back home and you'll be all good. At least you can keep in touch with them and stuff like that. But definitely kids and family. I think that's a very huge one because you cannot easily do away with them. Like Gipty said, that person on Facebook who opened, the doctor said, let the stress out. And they opened the door and let the babies and the kids out.
Everybody go out.
Everybody go because they are the stressors. I wish it was that easy, but it's not because you love your people. Some of them are your blood relations. So how are you going to let them go when you know they are the people that make who you are? And so we got to find a way of, managing those stresses if we don't want to get sick, especially cardiovascularly or even mental health, because stress will also lead to other diseases apart from blood pressure increases. Move forward. All right, so we are going to move forward to the next item on our slide, which we chose to be a stress causer, which is health challenges. Some people are also dealing with stress because they are facing some chronic health issues. you know they are going through certain things that are affecting their day-to-day activities. Already maybe they may be diabetic. They're already dealing with controlling their blood sugar. Already the doctor is telling them your sugar is too high, or already they may have another disease that we don't know, and that in itself is causing stress. So if you add their disease state plus the family issues plus the finance, oh my goodness, that becomes a huge thing. It becomes a huge thing for them to deal with. And so stress can be caused by health challenges, whether you have a chronic situation or otherwise. So you have you add something to it?
Yeah, and also if you have family member who has been diagnosed with a serious health condition, that you are the caregiver and you have to take care of your family member, that can be a little stressful on you as a caregiver. So that we should find a ways and means to also control that stress level, because I've heard people say that if you are taking care of a sick person and you don't take time to take care of yourself, you're the caregiver, you may die before the sick person.
Yes.
Well, so it's very important that if you have any close relative and any close person and you are giving the care, you are taking care of them, you have to also find ways and means to control your stress. Because if you're not able to control your stress, it will lead to other complications that you may also get sick in addition to taking care of that sick
Oh,
person.
come on, man. My goodness. That is what's up. That's very, very true. Caregivers' stress can lead to caregiver getting sick. And we got to be careful because much as you love your people and you want to take care of them, you have to have a place where you give yourself a break and check yourself and say, am I being stressed? Is this thing overwhelming me? Is this, taking care of this mother of mine, taking care of this grandparent of mine, taking care of this child of mine, taking care of this niece of mine? Is it making me too stressed that I'm actually going to increase my blood pressure? Because that's the ultimate thing we are talking about here. Stress increasing your cardiovascular health disease risk, especially when it comes to blood pressure, making you hypertensive. Is this caregiving that you are offering, is it going to be one that is going to lead you into that state where you get sick yourself? And the good thing about the United States here is, much as we talk about individualism, which is something that is very common in the Western world, um, to some extent it helps because you don't need to take care of your grandparents or your very old parents even. You bring them to the nursing home and specialized care is given to them, especially if they cannot take care of themselves, so that you don't have to deal with the day-to-day care of your parents, older parents I should say, or your grandparents, and that relieves you a little bit of the stress. But then you have to have the insurance to take care of those things. We talk about those other issues on another channel, on our other channel. But definitely you have to have somebody giving you the break if you are not in the US or in the Western world where we can basically defer companies to take care of our parents for us, or even assisted living homes, not necessarily nursing homes, where your parent or your older folk can go. Even your spouse who may be sick that you're taking care of, can go to an assisted living facility. You can go to work, and then after work you pick them up and bring them home. So you deal with them only a few hours in the day, rather than for constant 24-hour caregiving, where you yourself become overburdened and as a result get high blood pressure. And so, that's some of the things that other places must learn to do, so that they don't get unduly stressed. It's got its own disadvantages, because some people will say that I want to live with my parent, I don't want anybody to touch my mom, I want to take care of my own mom, she took care of me when I was a baby and I got to take care of her. And in fact, some cultures, that's the mentality. Your parents expect you to live with them and help them and take care of them until they pass, when they are very old, which has its own disadvantage. But nowadays that we know that it may not be ultimately healthy, we can defer some of the care, even if sending them to a nursing home. Have somebody come home and take care of them and pay them a little bit. That way you can relieve yourself of the undue stress that comes from caregiving. And so that is a huge thing, because it, like you said, it gets people sick. And some people have been found to become seriously sicker than the people they were taking care of, just because of the stress. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So with that being said, I think that would be the last one of the what do you call it? Let me see if there's another one. I think I may have reduced it. So yeah. So now let's talk about how stress increase your blood pressure. So now we know the causes of stress. At least we went through four major causes: your relationships, your finances, your job, and all those. But now, how does this stress we're talking about, how does it lead to high blood pressure? If you know how it leads to high blood pressure, then you take it serious and avoid being stressed. So we're going to talk about four things in summary that are going to do that. The first thing is what we have on our screen that says adrenaline and cortisol hormones that will be released. And then we also talk about increasing your heart rate, as well as narrowing your vessels, which is a result of those two hormones that we're talking about. And then we're going to go to
how the stress can cause you to retain sodium and increase your blood volume.
Okay.
And it can also increase the glucose level, and it can affect your blood pressure.
All right. So now we know these things are going to cause you, in short, cause your blood pressure to go up, cause them. So we already talked about sodium retention. Why sodium? When you keep sodium, your blood pressure goes up. We already explained it in our earlier videos. So if you don't know that, you can go back after the show to watch and the explanation, or we can do it quickly. Talk about. Okay, so the way sodium does is when you have sodium, too much sodium in you, then your body has to withhold water. If you keep sodium, you have to keep water to balance it out, because there's only so much salt you can keep. So if you keep extra, your body has to hold water so that the concentration of sodium, I should say, in your blood should remain obviously the same. So like you make a soup. If your soup is too salty, you add water so that the taste will still be good. That's how I analyze it. It's so easy to understand. So when we say sodium retention, all it means is that you're going to keep more water. And if you keep more water, your blood volume will increase and your pressure will go up. So that's literally what that means. So with that on the side, now let's move to the first one. So the first one is the hormonal increases, which is adrenaline and cortisol.
Yeah, so when you are stressed, so this is the acute stress, that person running. So your body resolve into fight and flight mode. It means that you are ready to fight and you are ready to flee from the danger that is happening. So this is the acute stress. So this person is running away from whatever is chasing him, right? So your body, in order to be able to do that, releases a hormone that we call adrenaline and cortisol. So these two hormones are released when you are in a flight and fight mode. That is when you are able to get the energy and the strength to do whatever you have to do in order to survive. It means that your body is in the survival mode.
Survivor, I like that
So
one.
you just want to
Survivor
survive.
mode. You are waiting to survive because your body is the cortisol basically is coming in to tell your body that come on man, you gotta run. Either you run for your life or you fight for your life. And so you see this man that we are showing on our YouTube video right there. This man is actually running for his life because somebody's trying to grab his wallet. What was that? His suitcase full of dollars. Man, come on, man. And so you can tell that even though he may not be a sprinter, he may not have run before, but because of the release of the stress hormone called adrenaline and cortisol, he's able to run faster to save his life. And that is natural with our body. So anytime you feel threatened, anytime your body thinks like something is up, your body will go into that state of running. So you may not run physically, but if you are stressed at home, your body is running internally. Oh, come on, man. If your wife is stressing you, trust me, your body is running internally. You may not be sprinting out, but acutely, you are stressed. So the hormones are released. If your husband is stressing you, similarly,
Yeah.
you are running internally. Your body is on a fight or flee mode to be saved. And the point is, if this continues, then there's something that's going to happen with your blood pressure. And so that is one of the reasons why stress is not good or why stress causes hypertension. So your body going through. You want to add anything?
Yeah, so let's think of this as acute, but when it's chronic, when it's constantly happening.
That is chronic. So acute is happening one time and then you stop, and you need that hormone to release to be saved.
Right.
But chronic is it's happening repeatedly, right?
Yes. So imagine that you have a job. I think the first cause of stress is what we mentioned, right? You have a job that you have to go to every day. And whenever you go, because of the stress, you are releasing the cortisol and you're releasing the adrenaline. You are always at the state of flee and fight. You are ready to fight. You are in a survival mode. So you are all alert. You are all that tense. So because of that, your body tends to release these hormones into your body.
And that is what is going to raise your blood pressure. So the
S-
stress hormone, we'll find out what they do,
Yeah.
right? All right. So unless you want to add
Yeah,
anything.
so you continue with your household, your environment, your husband, the people around you are constantly stressing you. It means that your body have to be in a survival mode and it will keep producing the adrenaline and the cortisol. So imagine that you go to work, you're stressed, you release the adrenaline, you release the cortisol. You come home and you're stressed and you keep releasing it. Your child calls you or something happened and you are stressed.
And you
Your
release.
finances are not that great and you keep releasing. And the list goes on and on and on. So if you are constantly releasing these hormones, then definitely your blood pressure is going to be affected.
Definitely your blood pressure is going to be affected. That's the whole point of our show. We want to let you know to deal with the stress. We're going to tell you how to deal with some of the stresses so that your blood pressure will be safe. And that is a very important point that we have shown you there. But notwithstanding, we have more. So now we talked about the adrenaline and cortisol. The next thing that will happen as a result of the release is your heart rate increasing. Your heart rate is going to increase and the blood vessels are going to be narrowed. And the reason being that when these hormones are released, this adrenaline and cortisol are released, some of the things they do is they work on your heart. Because again, the only sense of the reason why they release is that there's something something dangerous out there. So they want to increase your heart rate. As a matter of fact, they also increase the contractility of your heart. They make your heart pump harder because they think that something is up and you got to have all the blood to all your muscles so you can run or fight for your life. So your heart rate is going to go up, your blood pressure is going to go up as a result. Also, the way it's contracting, your heart is contracting, is going to be stronger. And then your vessels are going to be narrowed. Adrenaline will cause what we call vasoconstriction or it's going to make sure that your blood vessels are constricted. And so constriction, as well as pumping harder and the speed at which your heart is pumping increasing, all come together to increase your blood pressure. And so it's not fun to be stressed. It's not fun to be stressed. And I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, some people will get to that state of stress that can lead them to panic attack. You can see them, they're shaking
panicking.
and they are running out of breath because the heart is pumping so fast. And sometimes they can lose like themselves to the point that they can't even breathe. They lose oxygen and they're trying to stay in that state. That is very dangerous. And that constriction of the blood vessels, because the blood vessels are getting narrowed, it means that the heart have to pump harder in order to let the blood pass through. And that is definitely the cause of increasing your blood pressure.
Your blood pressure is going to go up definitely with that, because you are pumping against a serious thing and a narrowed tube. So definitely stress will cause you to increase your blood pressure. And again, if you were stressed acutely, if you were about to be attacked by a mob, you were about to be attacked by an armed robber, and you were acutely stressed, all these things, God has made us in such a way that these things will happen so you can run away for your life. But if that's not it, it's the stress in your home, your kids stressing you up, and you are increasing and doing this all the time, then the opposite effect, which is supposed to be good, is what is going to happen. You are going to destroy your heart, you're going to destroy your blood pressure, it's going to go up the charts, all because of your stress. And I think you mentioned a point before we actually came live about people who are already with high blood pressure. If somebody is already hypertensive and they get acutely stressed, for them it wouldn't even be chronic stress that's going to make them suffer. Already they have high blood pressure, and so any small stress, because remember, stress will definitely bring your pressure up. So that small stress can bring it up, and it will go up because you're already at higher level. A little going up more is just going to lead to detrimental situations such as a stroke, a heart attack, or death, or whatever it is that could result. Because already you are up there, and then another stressor brought an acute increase in blood pressure again. So stress is dangerous. Stress for your heart and your blood pressure is really, really dangerous. You have anything more?
Yeah, and it's even more serious. I think you mentioned if you have uncontrolled blood pressure. If your blood pressure is not controlled, it's already high,
And
then something hitting that makes you so stressed, and the cortisol is released, the adrenaline is released, and your heart is pumping. That's when that you can drop dead right away. Or heart attack right away, or stroke right away. Why? Because your blood pressure was already elevated, and the little stress spike it even higher, and it hit you so hard that you can get paralyzed on one side, stroke and all that. So it's very important to control your blood pressure. So if your blood pressure is controlled and you end up with this stressful situation, it will go up all right, but it wouldn't go to the point that will be the dangerous levels because your blood pressure is controlled. So uncontrolled blood pressure, then on top of it you have stressful situations. That is definitely a deadly situation that can hit you hard.
That's a deadly situation right there. That is not what you want, to have uncontrolled blood pressure and then living in stress. So if you are watching and you don't know your blood pressure, I hope it's not high. But if you don't know until you get your doctor to check and let you know, you better watch out, because any little stress can kill you. Because if it's already high, if you are running in the 160s, 160 over 95 or 160 over 100, 180, 170, and you get a serious acute stress, you could spike to 200 in that moment. And for you, maybe your 200 will be a stroke. And so you don't watch your blood pressure and you think you are fine. Watch out, because you ain't fine until something happens. And definitely stress will come when you least expect it. You get a call that don't come to work again tomorrow. That is stress. That is stress. And if your pressure is already high, guess what would happen? It's going to go up right there. And who knows what will happen. And that's why we want to educate ourselves to make sure that we know what we are, where we are for our blood pressure, blood glucose, and all those good stuff, so that we don't live in denial. Just make sure we treat ourselves. All right, so we can go forward.
Yeah.
All right, so that is another one of the things that we wanted to talk about. So now with that on the side, we want to talk about sodium retention as a result. So, stress leading to sodium retention. You want to go on, or should I
Yeah.
go?
So with that, if when you are stressed, we talk about the hormone that releases, right? So when the cortisol is released, it tends to retain sodium. So you eating salty foods, your body retain the sodium, right? But if you are stressed, it's even retain even more sodium. And we know what sodium does. It spikes your blood pressure. So when your sodium level is high, I think you explain it, your body tends to get more fluid, hold on to more fluid. And when you hold on to more fluid, your blood volume increases, and that will definitely increase your blood pressure.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. More sodium will be held back as a result of the cortisol release. Sodium will be held back. So on the slide that we are showing, you see sodium is the white and the blood and all those things moving right there. So if sodium is kept in the body because of cortisol, which is natural, it's going to be there because cortisol thinks that because you're stressed, your pressure should rise so that you can fight and flee. That's what cortisol is doing. He's doing his job all right, but the only problem is you may be overly chronically stressed. You don't need to be stressed at points when you have to be relaxed. And so if you keep your sodium up because cortisol is releasing all the time, because you go to work, you're stressed, you come home, you're stressed, everything is stressing you, then obviously the end result is that you're going to increase your blood pressure, as Gifty has explained. So that is another one of the reasons why your pressure goes up when you are stressed. Now, move on to the next one is glucose. Your glucose levels in your blood will also increase. Your glucose will increase because of stress. And I'm going to take that also. And the reason is that when you are stressed, again, cortisol to the rescue. Cortisol is released, and the work of cortisol, which is the hormone we've been talking about, is also to make you have energy readily available to your muscles. So cortisol is doing its job. Right or right? Its work is that, hey, let's keep some glucose or sugar around, because if not, if this guy has to run for his life, or if this woman has to fight for her life, she's going to need some energy. So let's keep glucose abundant. And so glucose will not be stored in your muscles. Glucose will not be stored in your liver as glycogen. It's going to linger in your blood, thinking that the stress you are facing is going to make you need that energy. And so if you don't need it because you just got stressed over something that shouldn't stress you, your sugar level is just going up for no reason because you never use those glucose levels. And doing that will make sure that you gain weight. And if you remember our previous shows, we have explained why weight gain can lead to high blood pressure. So I think that's a good way to show why stress can lead to weight gain and also onto high blood pressure. Do you have anything
Yeah,
else to-
so if you are diabetic and you test it and you realize that it's not being controlled, and you are thinking you are getting the right insulin, you're taking your medication as prescribed, and the dose is on point and everything, and it seems not to be controlled, you have to check your stress level.
Oh, come on, man. You got to check your stress level. You got to check your stress level. Unfortunately, there you can't measure stress in your blood like you can check it in glucose, right? You got to ask the questions. What are the things that are giving me stress? Is this husband making me stress unnecessarily? Is this woman stressing me up for no reason? Is this child of mine making me stress too much? Sometimes we just have to let go because some of the things we stress about, there are no reasons why we should be stressed about them because we can't control everything. And I think this is a good segue into our tips for how you control your stresses. So you can't control everything. Life is not supposed to be managed by you, everything. In fact, the things that you have been made to control, 100% of the time you cannot control it. So just do what you can and let life go on. And if you accept the fact that you are not able to control everything, you cannot control what your teenager does when he or she leaves the house. You cannot control what your middle-aged kid will do in school. The fact that they called you to school multiple times doesn't mean when she or he is not home, you should be stressing because you think they are going to do the same. Let them live their life. You live your life. Control what you can. You know, sometimes when we were able to control them when they were younger, we should have been able to control them. We let them roll with whatever they want, and now they are living it out, and we want to control them now. Come on, man, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, if you control them when you could, maybe, yeah. But when they are grown at some age and you cannot, just let them go. Do your best and then let them live their lives. So do not overly have control or try to control everything in your life. Or some people, not just their life, they want to control the things about their spouse too. They got to control everything about them and also control everything about their woman and control everything about their kids.
It's too much work.
Too much work. You're going to be stressed. Come on, man. Too much work. Your blood pressure is going to shoot up. No wonder it shot up when you were younger because too much control. Let it go, bro. Let it go, sis. You can't do that. Let me not go ahead of myself. What are some of the things, unless you want to add something, what are some of the things I wrote down that can be used to control stress? So let it go. Let it go. And yeah, I put that you can do, well, meditation. Meditation. These are some of the things that will help you to be able to control stress, right? So the first one is meditation. People who regularly meditate are people who are able to control their blood pressure. It goes hand in hand because meditation will reduce your stress levels, it will reduce the incidence of cortisol release, and as a result, you become more able to deal with your blood pressure. So that's the first one. And
Yeah, so with meditation, let's take our jobs for instance, right? Your boss is overbearing. Your co-workers are such that you can deal with them, and the workload is not ending, and it's coming on and on. And this is the time that you just have to tell yourself that you can meditate. And if you are a Christian, what you can do is maybe you are fearful that you may lose your job, right? So you're trying to contain all the stress, you're going to stay in there. You can meditate. If you have the Bible up, you can type in fear, and it comes with a lot of quotations, a lot of verses. You can recite them and you can speak it into your spirit. You can meditate on it, and you know that you have a provider. The work is just a channel to get money, but the source of your existence is God Himself. So if you have such a mind, and you are at work, you are going to be relaxed. When they bring anything that is too something that you can bear or is too difficult, you just brush it off. You tell them you do your best. So you take things easy instead of getting to that state of flee and fight all the time. You don't have to be combative. If somebody says something, you just say okay. You just be at a relaxed state because you have something that you rely on, because you have meditated on the word of God. So that meditation will take away that sense of trying to survive on your own, because somebody is taking care of you.
somebody's taking care of you. Come on, man. Somebody is taking care of you.
If you bring it home and your husband is stressing you up, and you are trying to control his life and trying to control everything, all that you have to say is like, we all report to a higher supreme God, somebody that we all have to report to. But if you are going to live your life anyhow, it's your case, but I'm going to make sure that I'm right with God. Because of your belief, you are able to sustain yourself, and you are going to be in a relaxed mode all the time. If your children are giving you a hard time, You know that the Bible says that train them in the way of the Lord, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. So if they are growing and you feel like they are departing from it, that's why you are worried and you are anxious over their lives. You just quote back the word of God and you just relax and you tell God that I trained them when they were young. And now that they are old, you said they will not depart. So I believe that they will not depart. So that stressful state of mind will be reduced. Then you can relax and enjoy your life. So meditation is very important. Some people use yoga to meditate. So any form of meditation, anything that will relax you, you have to apply, you have to meditate. Some people love music. They listen to the music, encouraging, assuring music, and that relaxes them. So you don't have to be in that state of mind all the time, being stressed. You have to find a way to relax using meditation.
Oh, come on, man. You got to do that. You got to relax. You got to meditate. And the key with meditation, as she said, is to have something to focus on. If you are just quiet like yoga people do, it's okay if you are not a believer and you want to do it that way. But if you have a backbone of something that speaks to you of encouraging words, then super, because you meditate, and by the time you finish your meditation you are so encouraged. You woke up depressed, you woke up stressed, and by the time you finish your exercise, remember, you don't stop your exercise, right? You do your exercise, you take your shower, and you meditate, or you do the meditation first and you take your shower, and you are ready to meet every challenge that you meet in a day. So if you put all those things together, it's going to help you to overcome some of the stresses, because as long as we live, there's going to be hard times. No, even rich people are stressed. Come on, man. People who have everything, they are stressed.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the stresses they have, how to control their wealth. how not to lose it, or how to make sure they make more, and they are stressed about it, and you are poor and you are stressed, and you think, come on, man. So everybody's going to be stressed at one point or the other. The key is those who are able to manage it well, they will live more fruitful, enjoyable lives. Their pressures will be tamed because they know how to deal with the stress. You come and tell them something is bad. Oh yeah, all right, I got this. And even though they don't got this, they will say, I got this. And the first word that comes out of them gives them an energy to rise up and do something. And yes, you may fail sometimes, but the key is that, again, as we said, to overcome stress, you got to let go of what you cannot control. Always tell yourself, I can only do so much. The things that I can do, I'll let them move by or slide by. And if you are a man or woman of faith like she is, you could probably leave that to God. If not, say, hey, I did my best and my best is not enough, so be it. And live your life and move on. All right, so I think there's another one.
Yeah, another young lady was also sharing her experience, and she said that she realized that every morning, everybody is stressed, trying to get the kids ready for school. The husband wants to find where you put his socks. The kids are asking you about their lunch, and you are trying to also get ready to go to work. And the whole house, everybody is stressed.
Everybody's
People are
working with
yelling.
time too.
Everybody is like, what is happening? Like, stressful. So the way that she managed her stress was to turn on the favorite music for the family. Everybody loved to sing along. So in the morning, she would set that mood, that environment, that relaxful environment. And she plays that music and everybody is relaxed. And she realized that when she just prepped the night before, she would take all whatever everybody is going to wear, set everybody up, the night before. So managing your time and setting up the pace and the environment can also help you control your stress level. So after she does it for few mornings, everybody is all relaxed and everybody calms down. So find a way and means to find solution. If you feel like everybody is tensed up, just talk about something jovial, something that relaxes everybody. We shouldn't be serious all the time.
Oh, come
Always
on, man. You got to be
business,
serious.
business.
Serious about life, man. We got to be
We
serious.
have
You
to
got to
go get
be
the
in
money.
the men's shoe. Yeah, sometimes the ladies do that, you know. You got to bring this, you got to have this, you got to have that, we got to have this, you
Don't
got to
even
have that.
get
So
that.
man is not resting because, come on, man. You ladies will judge us when we don't do that. So, well, thank you for saying it. And hopefully the women out there are also going to take a cue from that because sometimes the pressure on the men is too much. The pressure is too much.
On the
Just as,
women.
oh, on the men too. On the men too. Pressure on both.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, yeah, I'm giving you pressure. Where's my food? What didn't you know that I was coming home this time? You're a woman of the house. You should make sure there's food in the house. Come on, man. And this woman also went to work. I mean, how much more pressure can you give her? You know, and similarly, the woman will also pressure you. Oh, we've been living in this place for so long. By this time, we should be driving that car. Look at my friend Jennifer.
Oh my
Jennifer is
God.
driving. Jennifer and her husband, they are driving this car, and you every day you go to work, but we don't see any money. Come on, man, don't stress yourself. You are stressing the man too. And man comes home and is always on the edge. What can I do? What can I do? The work is not enough. The money is not enough. Let's appreciate what we have, the little we have. And those things will actually serve to take some of the stresses away, being grateful for what we already have. Now, in the interest of time, if you leave us, we're going to keep you all day. In the interest of time, let's move on. The next one, you actually sneaked in another one. That's time management. I took it out because of time, but you sneaked it in. To be able to manage stress, you have to have time management skills. And the next one is physical or regular physical activity. You got to have regular physical activity, what we usually call exercise. You know, if you want to overcome stress, you got to exercise. If you watch our previous show, we talked a lot about exercising as a means of overcoming high blood pressure. Exercise also takes away your stress. In fact, because of exercise, some people have been able to come off medications for depression and anxiety because the exercise they did led to a release of a chemical we call endorphins. And endorphins being released make you feel good. And so, though they were depressed before, because of the regular exercise that they did, the endorphins getting released, making them feel better to the extent that at some point they didn't need their medications. I'm not saying that if you are on a medication for depression, stop it because your exercise is going to do it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for some people, after consistent exercises over a long period, they were able to feel so good in themselves that their medications were slowly tapered off. Remember, if you're on an antidepressant, you can't just stop cold turkey. You got to be tapered off, even if you feel like you don't need it. Okay, we are professionals here, so let me let you know that. And because of regular exercise, they are able to overcome anxiety. Some people may not be on medication, but they seem to be anxious all the time. A regular exercise or physical activity can help. And of course, it starts off with helping you with stress management. It makes sure that you are overcoming your stress. So if you are on the edge all the time, take it from us from today. Try and sneak in daily 15, even 20 minutes of exercise daily and see how your mindset will change, how your mental health will change because of the stress reduction that is associated with exercise. And so that's what I want to say. I don't know if you
So
have
and
any.
the endorphins that is released relaxes you, and that is the hormone, that feel good hormone. It relaxes you. Your blood vessels are relaxed instead of it being constricted. And when they are relaxed, definitely your blood pressure is controlled.
And your stress is down. Stress is down. So two things. You went with two things. So definitely let's make sure that we are exercising. Now we're going to run through it. The next one also on our slide is what? Adequate sleep. This is where it gets harder. My goodness.
That hit you.
Adequate sleep. Adequate sleep. Enough sleep. I mean, research states that for optimum health, everybody needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. But come on, man, if you are watching on the live, put it in the comment section if you don't mind. Or if you are watching after the live is over, how much sleep you get. And say that and also tell us your gender. You're a guy and I get 6 hours of sleep. Or 3 hours of sleep or whatever hours. Consistent exercise, consistent sleep is what I'm talking about. So, sleep is going to help you overcome stress. People who are short of sleep don't usually go away without stress. They are always stressed. They are on the edge because of lack of sleep. You have anything to add?
And the sleep, the number of hours, we have to encourage the quality of sleep. Quality sleep.
Quality is
It's
also
not the
important.
quantity, it's the quality. So if you are able to fall into deep sleep for at least 6 hours, you said 7 to 8, 9 hours. Yeah, if you can get into that deep state of mind, as sleep, that will always help deal with your stress. Because as humans, I think we all have examples on that. Sometimes when you feel like you didn't have enough sleep, every little thing annoys you. You are not, like, you are on the edge because you didn't have a good night's sleep. So in order to control your stress, you have to have at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Good
And that
sleep.
should be quality sleep. It's not the sleep that somebody opened the door, you can hear, you get up, you go back and think that you have 7 hours of sleep if it's not a deep sleep.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So good sleep is what we are talking about. Now let's see if we have any. The last one on our list is social connections. So if you want to break hold of the stresses that lead to your blood pressure going up, you got to have some social connections. So, there are some people that know nobody. It's like, as for you, you are walk alone. They don't talk to anybody, and if they do, it's just your wife and or their husband and their children. No connection to anyone. Social connections will help you overcome stress. So that is another important thing that we got to have. As I said earlier, in the West, it's not easy to be socially connected because if anything, if nothing at all, the cold weather will let you stay put to your house, right? It won't let you go around. But we got to make conscious effort. We got to have conscious and deliberate effort to be connected to other people. You got to go to church and form the social interactive groups, or connect to somebody on some kind of a level apart from your wife or your husband, so you can talk and release stress. So that is a very important stress reliever right there.
Yeah, so you can talk and relieve stress. Then the women we are in trouble.
You guys talk too much.
So
You guys talk too much.
yeah, so that can be a form of how we are able to cope with our stress. It's not that just because we like talking. Sometimes talking relieves the stress. So you have a friend, you have to have social connection. There is no way that you can be a loner and expect to be able to control your stress. So you have to have a friend, you have to have somebody that you can go out with, you can talk loosely, like without caring so much. Just let everything out. That can be a way of you coping with your stress. Maybe a long day work, you're tired, you come home and you have somebody to talk to, that definitely will help with your stress level.
That would definitely help with your stress level. So, social connections, if you have a church you go to, that's right there. If you are in the school, you have friends in school. If you have a family, sometimes even without those institutions, your work, you can forge friendships with some work people, as well as even family relations that don't live with you right there. You can be, close to them in terms of talking and, sharing your problems with. Sometimes all it takes to overcome stress is to have somebody to talk to who will listen to you. And if you're able to do that, then obviously you have overcome your stress. So that is definitely one of the things to do. Now let's move on to the next one. We are concluding as we close the show. This is what we have done. We've talked about the causes of stress. We've also talked about how stress affects blood pressure.
And we also discuss how we can overcome the stress.
We also discuss that, yeah. And now we are doing the comments. If you have any comments, I don't see any comment. I have 5 thumbs up. And thank you all those who put the thumbs up. If you are watching after the replay or later on and live the replay, make sure you also do the thumbs up, comments, and share and all the good stuff. All right. So with that being said, next week we're coming back again at 6 or 7 p.m. And we are going to, I think next week we should do 6 o'clock,
Okay.
6 p.m. tomorrow. I mean, on Saturday. I may come
Sunday.
within Sunday, I'm sorry. I may come before that, but if not, at least you can expect to see us on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to talk more about other issues that affect your blood pressure. We may talk about medications, we may talk about something else, but we just want you to know we're going to hit one more, at least a couple more, because this is season 7,
Yeah.
a couple more episodes before we close the door on blood pressure. And it's been fun. It's been fun. What do you think? Today
Yeah,
was good.
so if you have any concerns, any ideas, any contribution, don't hesitate.
Don't
Just let us
hesitate.
know.
Yes, you can put your comments, your questions on all the chats and YouTube. We are coming on Shorts live as well as on the regular YouTube, live. So you can check out that way also to see the slides that we showed. But we really appreciate you joining us today, and we thank you so much, knowing that you have learned something, and we all learned something too as we go. We renew our ideas towards stress and make sure that we have a better health, cardiovascular health. So, as we close off, we say, Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
God bless.